What's up, everybody? Welcome to our channel, Honest Hockey Takes. I hope you guys had a fantastic year. We're approaching a new year very soon here, so I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys have a Happy New Year's.
Yeah, guys, first up, we just wanted to thank you for all the support we got. We started this channel up in September, and it has been so much more support than we ever could have imagined. We're really grateful for all of our viewers and all of our subscribers, and we just have the best wishes for you guys in the new year. And for this video today, we're going to be talking to you guys about our 10 biggest surprises in 2022. So we're going to go through whether it's teams that did really good or bad, or players that stuck out and did really good or really bad. So without further ado, I'm going to start us off with number 1, the New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils right now with a record of 22, 11, and 4. Wow, this is a team that before the year started, a lot of people expected to be bottom 5. I had them slightly higher. I had them like 5th in their division, but we could not have expected anything like this. Winning 13 games straight was absolutely freaking wild. We did not think that was even a possible thing for this roster. And just the emergence of this team as a whole and how well they play as a unit and how well they play defensively, it was just really a shocker for us and really stood out.
Yeah, I mean, I had this team on the bottom of the Metro Division.
Yeah, you had them last.
Like, did I have them last? Oh, yeah. Because I knew how much you liked this team. So I was like, nah, I'm going to put them last. But no, this team surprised me a lot this year just by the way how they play. They play with identity now by shooting a lot at the net and playing hard and not giving up on plays and playing with their speed. That is very impressive to me. Like, Jack Hughes has looked not surprising at all, but Jack Hughes has looked absolutely a superstar in this team. A lot of secondary guys are chipping in on this team. Very good to see. Even the defense core is absolutely insane. Like with John Marino back there, it just refreshes his defense big time.
Yeah, I know. It's just the team as a whole has been what's made it so impressive. And to think that they were about to fire Lindy Ruff earlier in the year after 2 games, what a turnaround.
And the next biggest surprise that we have at number 2 is TAGE THOMPSON. My God, 50 points in 33 games. I mean, I knew this kid was okay. I thought he was good. I didn't think he is this good, but I don't think anyone expected him to be this good. Big 6'6" centerman, 200-some pound centerman, crazy. Hard to move this player around. Has good skating for his size. Very good shooting and very good elite vision and passing, which is very evident with the point totals that he has right now. No one has predicted this. Did you predict this?
Bro, this blows my mind. This is probably on this list. I mean, we have all these are pretty surprising to us, obviously, but this one might be personally my biggest surprise because this guy's averaging 1.5 points per game. And I literally thought last year was a fluke and he was gotten an overpaid contract and this was going to be a like meh player who was like 60 points for the rest of his career. And he has shocked the hell out of me. This guy is probably going to get 100 points this year, or at the worst case, like 90. That's crazy. And he's shown that he can do it all. Like, I mean, he's a big man, like Owen said, 6'6". He can score goals. He can pass it beautifully. And he has hands, man. This guy's 6'6", and he dekes people out like they're pylons. It just doesn't make sense. True freak of nature. And as much as I don't personally love the guy, I got to respect his game.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to add is that he's making Jeff Skinner look good. Because when Jeff Skinner signed that contract for $9 million, everyone was like, what the heck was this? But now no one's really complaining about him because he's scoring, putting up so many points on this team with TAGE THOMPSON on his side. So, yeah.
Nah, he definitely makes everyone around him better. Got to give the kid credit. For our number 3 surprise we have this year, we have ERIK KARLSSON and his resurgence this year. Like, wow. This is a guy who I left for dead. I think Hohen left him for dead too. We thought maybe he'll have a good season, get like 55 points in like 82 games kind of thing, and that would be a good season for him considering how bad he's been lately. And then this year, holy crap. The guy is averaging almost 1.5 points per game, just under 1.5 points per game as a defenseman. Absolutely wild on a team like the Sharks that really doesn't have a lot of other superstars to work with. And what's even more insane about ERIK KARLSSON's season, and this is just crazy to me, I saw this stat the other day. He leads all players in the NHL in even strength points. That includes guys like McDavid, Draisaitl, Mitch Marner, like these guys. He's ahead of all of them in even strength points as a defenseman. Absolutely freaking wild. Hats off to ERIK KARLSSON, man.
I mean, yeah. I mean that you know what, the point totals and everything are sexy. The offensive game, offensive flashes is sexy. But I never liked this guy's defensive game. Still, I still don't. But Erik Karlsson, I gotta give him some respect here. He is he's been killing it this year, proving the naysayers wrong this year.
There's no way no way anyone expects
No
that.
one expected
No
this.
way.
Like Scott said before the year, we expected Erik Karlsson to have a bounce back season, but we didn't expect this type of bounce back. We were expecting we're in the ballpark of 50 to 60 points.
Yeah, we said
right?
with Brett Burns gone, we're saying his point total is going to go up like 55, 60 points.
Yeah.
And, well, we're looking like we really lowballed that because this guy's going to get 100. It's crazy.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna reach 100, but he'll get probably close to that, right?
Yeah, give or take.
Which is
We'll
absolutely
see.
insane.
You never know
He's
anymore.
really close to. He probably heard all the things about people are talking about. Oh, Cal McCarr's the best defenseman and everything, and you're like, wait, who? He's
Yeah.
like, no, let me go out there and show who was the best 5 years ago.
Turn back the clock like crazy. The guy looks like he's 25 out there. Wild.
Yeah. At number 4, we have another defenseman, Josh Morrissey from the Winnipeg Jets. Never did I have ever expected this from him. I've had this guy in so many of my fantasy hockey teams in the past, and he has never been this good. He's always been my 5th D-man, 6th D-man on the team. Yeah, he's the guy that I always want to try to trade him away because I'm like, hey, take this guy, you can take him too. But no one wants to take him. So
Everyone wants him this year.
everyone wants him this year. This guy has 42 points in 30-some games. Absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy, man.
This coach really likes this player. I think this coaching change has really helped Josh Morrissey because it's really when you watch Josh Morrissey play right now, he is way more free. He's playing very freely around the ice. He doesn't feel restricted. That he looked really restricted to me last year, and he was time sharing a lot with Neil Pionk. So this year I think this coach is establishing that Josh Morrissey is their number 1 D-man, and I think it's helping him a lot.
Yeah, he's not only a number 1 D-man. This guy, at this point in the season, we're almost halfway through the year, 36 games in. He's a true Norris nominee defenseman right now. I'm sure he's going to be nominated. Like, I can't see how this guy is not one of the 3 nominations at the end of the year. He's got the numbers. His defensive game has been really solid. He's really helped Hellebuck a lot. Like, if you look at Hellebuck's numbers, he's been amazing this year too. He actually was almost one of our surprises as well because of how well he played. But in the past, we've seen him do it, so we didn't think it was quite as shocking. But with this guy, Josh Morrissey, we never saw this coming. This is a guy who's played in the league for like 6 years before this, and his top season was like 42 points. Like, we didn't think that was going to be a player who goes from a half a point per game to over a point per game. This guy's got an assist per game average right now. That's wild. Just off assists.
That's crazy. Yeah.
No, that's crazy. Just all around great defenseman. Hope he continues it for Winnipeg's sake because they've needed this for a long time. Alrighty, our next big surprise of 2022, we have the Seattle Kraken. Man, this team's been off to a hot start to the year. And I can't even really say a hot start anymore because we're almost halfway through the year. They're at 18 wins, 11 losses, and 4 overtime losses. This team is currently in the playoffs quite comfortably with games in hand. Now, I didn't expect this. I had this team as bottom 2 in this division, and I'm pretty sure Hohen did too at the beginning of our season predictions. None of us expected this. We thought they would be nowhere near. We're thinking they're in the Connor Bedard watch before the year started. But we were wrong. This team is got chemistry. Like, whether it's any one of those top 3 lines, they seem to all be playing well. Guys like Burakovsky, who came out of like Colorado and was kind of like a role player there. Now he's like a top player for this team, almost a point per game player for the Kraken. And then, of course, the guy we always talk about, Matty Beniers. What a rookie campaign, probably winning Rookie of the Year for this team. That part we didn't find as a surprise, but what his impact has meant to this team's success is.
This team has been really surprising. Like Scott said, I had this team probably pretty close to the bottom of the standings there for the Pacific predictions. The Pacific Division is not a very strong division. That's well known, but Seattle Kraken with the Andre Burakovsky scoring the way he's scoring is absolutely ridiculous. He's actually looking like a true number 1 player on the team, which I never expected. There are also some surprises on this team that didn't meet my expectation. For example, Oliver Bjorkstrand, I thought he was going to play a lot better than this. And the fact that they're doing this well without his production is insane. Jordan Eberle has looked absolutely insane so far. And I was not expecting him to look this good still on this team. And obviously, like Scott said, Matty Beniers. I mean, this is probably the most fun player to watch right now on this team by a long ways right now. and I hope he keeps it up. But we'll see if Seattle as a team can hold up. I like their defense core. I like Carson Soucy. He's a very good defenseman, actually. So, yeah, we'll see if they'll hold up, though.
Yeah, lastly, I think two things that really stood out for this team that have really helped, I think, as well is Vince Dunn and Justin Schultz on the back end. These guys have been adding some offense that I didn't know they were capable of recently. Like, I mean, we haven't seen this kind of stuff from Schultz in like 3-4 years minimum, right? And then Vince Dunn has like just been a great power play quarterback for them. And just, as I said, it's like a real true team effort and exactly what you want to have when you're a coach. Because, I mean, they're getting 3-4 lines sometimes firing. They can score. And their offense has been a big reason why they're doing so well this year.
And at number 6 for our biggest surprise of 2022 will be the St. Louis Blues. Right now, the record is 17 wins, 16 loss, and 3 overtime loss. It's not good. I had in my season prediction for the Central Division, I had this team at, I believe, second or first.
No, you had them winning. You definitely had them winning.
I had them first, so it's looking, making me look like real bad right now. But I thought this team would be doing so much better. Some players are just absolutely doing so bad on this team. Like, for example, their whole defense core is doing bad. Not one of them has stood out and looked good so far. Man, I don't even know what to say at this point. Jordan Kyrou has started to pick up a little bit. I have liked his game again. Robert Thomas is not the problem. Tarasenko, I know he's scoring a lot of points, but at the same time, he is putting up big negative numbers. Ryan O'Reilly, my God, I don't know what happened to this guy. Like,
it's the ghost of Ryan O'Reilly out there. That's like, not him.
This is not the Ryan. When I put St. Louis Blues to win the division, I expected Ryan O'Reilly to have a monstrous year. I expected him to be really, really good. I even had him as a dark horse for my award prediction for the Selke Trophy.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening.
And that's definitely not happening anymore. So shame on you, Ryan O'Reilly. You're making me look really bad. St. Louis Blues is not. I don't like your goaltending at all. Jordan Binnington has I don't know. He just doesn't look good. Both goalies look like crap. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, that's the biggest thing for St. Louis's fall from grace here. The reason they're barely over 500 right now and not one of the top 2 teams in this division. Jordan Binnington and Thomas Greiss have not stopped anything. These guys have been basically sieves in the net. Both are over a 3.2 goals against average, which is horrific, especially for a team like St. Louis that has been successful for the last few years. And on top of that, like Cohen said, this defense, this is a horrible defense right now. There's no other way to put it. The only player that I thought stand out to be remotely okay up back there is Justin Folk, and everyone else has been pretty brutal right now. And their team doesn't buy in either. Like, these forwards are not back checking enough. They're all just trying to get their points like they did last year, where they were all like 70 to 80 point players, like that top 6. And it's clear that they really miss guys like David Perron in that lineup.
Yeah, and one last thing, like I don't know why people have these fandom for like these Torrey Krug and Colin Parayko. These guys are crap. They're garbage players. Like, I don't like them at all. Useless pylon players. Get rid of them.
And for our 7th surprise on our list here for 2022, it's got to be Moritz Seider from the Detroit Red Wings. This is a guy who won Rookie of the Year last year. His season was absolutely remarkable. It was pretty unanimous to a lot of people that he deserved to be Rookie of the Year. But he has definitely had a big step back in his sophomore season. This guy has not been doing very well offensively or defensively. It doesn't really matter which way you look at it. For a team like Detroit, who started the year really well and is over 500, this guy has not really contributed much to it, at least on the offensive end. In 33 games, he has 2 goals and 10 assists for only 12 points. That's on pace for a 30-point season over a full 82 games. And on top of that, he's been quite a minus player for most of these games. Like, every time I swear I check the games, he's -1, -2, and he's still getting the opportunity. It's not like he's not getting his chances. The guy's playing 25 plus minutes a game, and it's just really shocking to me because he looked so good last year, and it does not look like the same player out there.
Yeah, exactly what he just said actually at the end there about giving the opportunities. A lot of players, they're not performing because they're not given the opportunity, or they get bumped down the lineup and stuff like that. That's not the case with Moritz Seider. He's playing 25 minutes a game. The coach is playing him a lot. He's putting on first power play unit for most of the season. And you know what? It's deserving for Hronek to take that power play 1 actually, because he's playing way better than him. There's nothing against Moritz Seider. Moritz Seider just hasn't looked good at all. He's got to pick up his game this year, or at least for next year, because he looks trash.
Yeah, I had way higher expectations for Moritz Seider. I really thought he was going to continue his breakout and ascend to all-star status as a defenseman. I projected him for about 55 to 60 point season this year on Detroit in 82 games, and he's going to get almost about half that. So it's kind of disappointing for me. unless he has a monster second half, I mean, I think this year is kind of a brutal one for him.
But even last year, I believe when had a really monstrous first half of the season, but then he tailed off in the second half, correct?
Yep,
Yeah,
he
so
did. I guess if you took his last like 82 games played between this year and last year, his numbers would probably not look very good either.
Yeah.
But I do believe, I will say, even though it's surprised how bad he's been, I do still have high hopes for his future, and I think he will be a solid defenseman for years to come.
Yep. And at number 8 for our biggest surprise, we have the Florida Panthers, who currently have a 16 win, 16 loss, and 4 overtime loss record, which is just not good enough for this team. This team had a lot of expectation from last year's President Cup trophy winning season, right? So for them to go from that to this, being outside a playoff spot right now is just not looking good right now. I know they play a lot of the games without Alexander Barkov, which is a big loss for them. But I felt like this team lost a lot of depth scoring. Like the third line of missing Marchman is a big one, and they lost some big solid defensemen back there, right? So you know what? I know some of the defensemen right now are playing really well, like Montour and Ekblad's injured, but like Montour's stepping up, and he's really surprised me. Didn't expect that, but Matthew Tkachuk has been playing really, really good, but him alone is not enough.
No, this is one of bigger surprises for me too. I did predict at the beginning of the year Florida would fall back. They wouldn't win the President's Trophy. They wouldn't be first in the East. I had them about third in the East, and this is quite shocking to me because I knew they'd be worse, but I did not expect them to be this bad. This is pathetic. 500 record for a team that was so good last year, like 35 games above, like wild. Big change. One of the biggest swings I think I've seen in one season in a long time. And on top of that, like Cohen said, it's just the depth of this team is not there. You can tell they're not playing the same style with the new coach. They're not getting the offense going. They're not scoring 5-6 goals a game. And when you look in net at Sergei Bobrovsky, he has been absolutely dreadful in net. He can't stop a beach ball. The guy's got like a 3.5 goals against almost. It's pretty wild right now. And without Spencer Knight in there, healthy, playing goal, they really don't have a lot of chance to win most of these games.
And the last thing I want to touch on is Paul Maurice. I don't really like this coach. I think and you can tell, like, I don't think he's the right fit. I think a lot of people in Florida are complaining about that. And also, on top of that, Florida made some very questionable moves in the offseason as well, getting rid of a lot of players.
Yeah, that Huberdeau trade, it's not aging very well for them. I mean, Tkachuk's doing well, but they lost a lot with Weegar as well. Yeah,
and letting Sherratt go, who was a very good player for them in that defense core, like, it weakens their defense quite a bit. I remember before the start of the season, when I looked at their defense core, I'm like, that defense core doesn't look that good, because I know Ekblad doesn't play full season. He never does.
Never.
And right now, I believe he's injured. So right now, with the emergence of Montour really surprised me, and they're very lucky to have that right now.
Alrighty, and number 9 for our surprises, we have Jack Campbell from the Edmonton Oilers. Now, when the Oilers went and got Jack Campbell and spent $5.5 million on him, I didn't think it was the greatest idea, but I had no idea it was going to be this bad. Jack Campbell for the Oilers has been just brutal. This guy has over a 4 goals against and an .870 save. This is just unacceptable hockey. This is like below backup level on a really bad hockey club. And for a team like the Oilers, you just can't have that. This is a team that has been missing that goaltending spot. That's one of the last pieces they need to go on a true run to win the Stanley Cup. And they did not get the answer. And on top of that, tied up $5.5 million in cap. This guy is just not even probably going to be the starter come playoff time, and they're down $5.5 million.
Yeah, I mean, the Oilers, the way they play, they allow a lot of shots. They're a highly skilled offensive team, but at the same time, they allow a lot of shots. So a goaltender needs to be good on this team. And Jack Campbell I guess he's not used to seeing this many shots, I guess, because our high danger scoring chances because he hasn't looked good at all. Every time we need a save from him, he doesn't make it. So, yeah, Stuart Skinner has looked more promising right now. He signed a very reasonable contract. Lucky that they got him for that price tag, because I feel like he can be a future goaltender for this franchise. But for Jack Campbell, that was not a good contract. 5x5, we're going to live with it for another 5 years. It's not good.
Yeah, and 15 games played. Like, this guy is the only goaltender in the league, I'm pretty sure, that has 15 games played or more and allowing over 4 goals against a game, which is just insane.
And the biggest surprise that we have for 2022 so far is the Boston Bruins. Man, first place, best team in the league right now, 28-4-3.
It's just stupid how good they are right now. At like the beginning of the year, we could never have thought this was happening.
No, no. And I'd had this team outside the playoff spot for our
As did I.
for the Atlantic Division. But man, I think they're really playing hard for Patrice Bergeron's farewell. I think this is his final year in this league, and the players just seem determined to play for Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci, actually, because I believe these are the last year they're going to stay on this team. And what amazes me is that when they didn't have Brad Marchand and Charlie McAvoy to start the year, lots of players stepped up. Like Hampus Lindholm stepped up, huge. He looked great. Taylor Hall looked good. Pasternak looked like he was a franchise superstar on this team. So it was crazy to see the types of players that were stepping up. Linus Ullmark had looked amazing.
That's the craziest one to me. Linus Ullmark for that the goaltending has just been unbeatable. He's had one loss at home. Like, can you imagine? How do you have one loss at home and we're already almost at the halfway point of the season?
And it's crazy how he in the season prediction, I expected Jeremy Swayman to be the starter, but he absolutely stole the ball and just ran with it.
The hottest goalie on the planet by far, not even close. There's no competition.
He's so good this year that we had to put him on our. If you watch our top goalie video, we had to put him in our top 10
just because he's unstoppable right now. The guy's an absolute monster in net. And just this team in general, like the chemistry they've been able to build and their system that they've put in with their new coach is just flawless. Like these guys look like a well-oiled machine out there. They don't make mistakes. They just like strangle teams to allow only like 1 goal, 2 goals tops in games that they play. And they score like 4 goals a game plus. Like they really have no weakness right now. And like Cohen said, their additions, getting a guy like Lindholm and in their backhand for defense to have along with Charlie now that he's back healthy. I mean, these are both like borderline Norris caliber defensemen this year, how well they've played. They're both almost a point per game. Like it's just absolutely wild.
Yeah, this team plays a really well-structured game, like what Scott alluded to. And if you watch the games against the New Jersey Devils, man, they put on a clinic against a really good hockey club. Usually, those are the type of games where when they play against the New York Rangers or the New Jersey Devils, like these top-tier teams, that's where you want to watch these teams to see how well they actually perform. And they passed every test so far.
They still beat all those teams with flying colors and beat the crap out of those teams. So this team is absolutely elite. And quite frankly, our biggest surprise because we were both so wrong when we had them out of the playoffs.
One thing I will say for sure, the Boston Bruins are a real deal this year. They're a really good team.
Yeah, it should be fun to watch the rest of the season and in the playoffs.
Yep.
Well, guys, that concludes our video of our 10 personal biggest surprises of 2022 in the NHL. And we look forward to a brand new year with you guys next year in 2023. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the new year.
Happy New Year's. Bye.